right, 2023 has come to a close. It is actually January 3rd as I'm filming this. It is 11 o'clock. I'm going to Georgia, Atlanta to be exact, tomorrow for a Christian conference, and I have to wake up in 5 hours. And I'm here filming a video. You guys are welcome. But today, we are going to do our bottom 12 movies of 2023. It started out as 10, obviously, but actually it's 13 right now. But eventually, 13 movies are the only movies that I would really say deserve to be bad. These are the only movies that I say are bad. There's one movie above this that I don't think is any good, but those are movies that more say mediocre than really bad are after this one. So these 13 right here are the only movies that I would flat out say I dislike or would give a negative score to. Well, this and the movie before this, Retirement Plan. You guys will see in my ranking. But yeah, these are the 13 movies. And with that said, please make sure to subscribe, like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What is you guys' bottom movies of the year? What are your guys' least favorite movies of the year? Gonna have a live stream coming up where I rank it all. That'll be next week because I will be in Atlanta this week right here. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that coming up. Best movies, comic book movies, rank a whole bunch of videos coming up. With that said, number 13, my 13th least favorite movie of the year is Napoleon. And this is a movie that me and my dad were both very excited to go see. And that's probably a little bit why it's on this list, because we both walked out of this movie feeling boredom. This movie, for me, had couple interesting scenes. When I walked out of the theater, I said, yeah, no, it had some interesting scenes. The battle scenes, beyond boring. Some of the most boring stuff I've ever seen in a movie, not only this year, but probably ever. But the more time goes on, the more I realize me and my dad walked out of the movie bored and ready to leave. And the more I think about it, the more I think that it's just kind of a flop. It's just kind of a movie that has some interesting ideas, has some interesting themes, but I kind of walked out of the movie bored and kind of just ready to go. And after you pass by time and remember that this is a theater experience that you just kind of wanted to get out of there at the time, you realize that this is not a good movie. It wasn't very entertaining. Had some cool scenes. The battle sequences were just so boring. This, unfortunately, because me and my dad were so excited to go see it, has to be number 13 on my bottom list of the year. Number 12, another really unfortunate one here. I have to go with Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder is a director for me that I never liked growing up. The more I get older, the more, specifically in superhero movies, the more crappy movies come out. You go back and you watch Snyder. You realize that Snyder actually made some really good movies. Batman v Superman, Snyder Cut, some of my favorite comic book movies now. So Snyder was a director that, and specifically with his last showing on Netflix, Army of the Dead, which I really liked. Rebel Moon was a movie that I undoubtedly was super excited about. His take on Star Wars, Star Trek, all that kind of stuff looked really interesting to me. The trailers, all good. Going in the movie, knowing that it was going to suck. I knew deep down that it was going to suck, and it just crushes me to say that it kind of did. Netflix, the way they're doing this, they basically said, all right, Zach, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you make a PG-13 cut that you can just throw on Netflix for views, which they put during the holiday season, where most people watch Christmas movies. Kind of a dumb way to say. And then they're like, you can focus on your R-rated cut later on. I'm sure the R-rated cut will be awesome. There were so many ideas in this movie that got me excited for the future and wanted me to see more. But this movie feels like not a completed movie. It feels like a half of a movie where you don't even get any of the payoff or anything. You spend the whole movie trying to find these people, and you want to find these people so we can go and save them and save the town. But then at the end of the movie, when you get to the final act, you get like maybe a glimpse or two of them doing something for 10 seconds. But the whole movie, there's no payoff. There's all set up, no payoff. A good second, part 1, part 2, we got Fast X right here, which is fun. But like Across the Spider-Verse or movies like that. Movies that are good, they have payoff, but it leaves you excited for the next part. This movie just left me not even excited for the next part. It's just kind of a stupid move by Netflix. Kind of, frankly, a little bit disgusting, honestly, trying to recreate the Snyder effect, which the Snyder Cut was done because of something disgusting by the studio, a loss of a child. And it's just kind of recreating that. You don't feel it. It's easily one of the worst of the year for me. And sucks I have to say it because I was looking so forward to it. Peter Pan and Wendy at number 11. This is a movie that all year I was trying to, you know what, I don't want it in this list. I don't want it in this list. Don't feel like it can be that. But then when I was kind of like watching clips, reading synopsis, kind of refreshing my memory on a couple things before I do live stream next week, kind of realized it kind of deserved to go down here. Now, at its core, it's a fun, swashbuckling adventure. You get all the fun hijinks you want from having Peter Pan and Wendy go off on these adventures. But then you get the characters. And the characters are some of the most unlikable characters I have ever seen in a film. Wendy, her whole character arc was at the very beginning of the movie. She does something very stupid with her brothers. She's joking around, and she breaks something that was probably very expensive. Her parents, understandably mad, of course, tell her to grow up. She's like 14. Yeah, you gotta start learning to grow up and not play pretend and break stuff around the house. You're not a toddler anymore. Perfectly reasonable parents. No, the whole movie you're supposed to be with her and be like, yeah, those parents suck you because you should never grow up. Like, that's a stupid character arc. Peter Pan, his whole character arc was Captain Hook. Captain Hook. It was basically his friend that he kind of took away from his family. Peter Pan is taking these kids away from his family and doesn't want to give them back. He's being selfish by keeping these kids from their family, basically kidnapping them. Terrible, terrible, terrible character arcs. When Captain Hook is the only person in your Peter Pan movie that you are rooting for, you kind of messed up. Not even gonna lie. Kicking off our real bottom 10 is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Now, this is a movie I'm not 100% sure I should be commenting on because this is the first Pet Sematary movie I have ever seen. For me, it just felt like a lazy another one of these movies, you know, where I can't say because I haven't seen the others, but it feels like you've seen this before. The character goes off, they mess with the devil, stuff happens, people killed, all that. It feels like a non-inspired cash grab on Paramount Plus for people who like this franchise. And I don't know if that's true, but the way it feels like is that this is just another streaming movie. It's just thrown on there so you could sit down and watch it when really it has nothing special to offer you. It feels like just another... I like I said, never seen a Pet Sematary movie, but it feels like it could just be another Pet Sematary movie. That's it all. You don't need to do anything unique, which kind of sucks because I'd imagine if you bring back a character that apparently is a fan favorite, you could do a couple neat things with that. And just kind of felt like another copy and paste movie on streaming. So really not my thing. There were a couple interesting things there that got me interested for the rest of the franchise. But overall, it's kind of the jigsaw of this. It's just another one of these movies with nothing super special about it to where I can feel. Sisu is next. And I know. A lot of you think this is dumb fun. Think it's fun. For me, it's a shameless ripoff of John Wick. The first John Wick. Which is unfortunate because I don't like the first John Wick. So this is a movie that was kind of just not made for me. I was excited to watch it. I sat down and just beat by beat, it's John Wick. Character gets wronged by a bunch of bad guys after he loses someone close to him. And they take something of his, so he's going on a revenge path. And along the way, you get this long criminal talk about, oh, this guy is a guy you don't want to mess with. He does all this and this and this. You get to the ending, he kills all these guys. It's the same movie, and it's shameless. It's not interesting. It's just a movie thrown out there. Like, I get people like it. Sean Chandler thinks this movie is fun. But for me, who does not like the first John Wick, I think it's kind of just a basic movie. Copy and pasting that, just a guy that don't even talk, you can't even really root for because he just doesn't talk, is kind of a bad idea in my book. Sure, I thought the final scene on the plane was really fun. But the rest of the movie just kind of like, okay, I've seen this before, and it really doesn't do anything special with that. 8, this is going to be very unpopular, Megan. Megan, the movie about the doll people were raving about, and this is a movie first movie I've seen this year, and it still managed to be in my bottom 10. I was not the biggest fan of the movie, and for me, I thought that first act was fine. some emotions there, some things that could be cool. But when you get through the whole movie, you're just kind of like, this is a Killer Doll movie, yes? Why aren't we seeing more Killer Doll? It feels like they just kind of were shying away from showing us Killer Doll, where I was just like, show us more, show us more. And to where we get to the ending act, the third act, where you get all this stuff, you just sat there for an hour and nothing really happened. So you just don't feel, it doesn't feel like anything's earned because you're just sitting there and kind of bored until you get the big doll action stuff. And it just doesn't feel like it really paid it off. So I kind of walked out of the theater a bit disappointed with this one. First movie I saw this year, still managed to be down here, which is unfortunate for it. Number 7, The Outlaws. This is a brand new, not brand new, but this is a Netflix movie starring Pierce Brosnan. It's about the outlaws. They're apparently, where the in-laws are actually outlaws. They're criminals, and they rob the bank, and then all this stuff happens. A movie on Netflix that you have seen before. Not only have you seen it before, but you've seen it so many times before that it just kind of, watching this one was kind of just meh. The big icing on the cake for this one is that there was so many just inappropriate jokes that just don't work. Goes for the lowest brow of humor. I watched this on a church van going on a mission trip, and the first 3 seconds you get the main character humping the air, getting excited about having to do something with his wife. Then you get him in, like, fortunately I had headphones on, but you get him in the kitchen singing about banging his wife while her parents are behind him. Just the lowbrow humor that just does not work for me. The action isn't even that fun. I typically dig movies like this up. Movies that star big cast, just kind of stupid movies thrown on Netflix. These are my kind of movies. And this one just kind of just missed the mark. This is a movie made for me, and it just shot and completely missed the mark on this one. Number 6, 65, one of my most disappointing movies of the year, because you got Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs. Where could you go wrong with that? Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs, probably gonna be one of the best movies of the year. And unfortunately, it's in pretty much everybody's bottom list of the year. First act, I thought was really cool. When you start fighting dinosaurs, Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs, it's really cool. It's got all the things you want. And then you get stuck in a cave. And you're in a cave for 45 minutes, and you're trying to find out how to get out of the cave for 45 minutes. This is a dinosaur movie, and you're stuck in a cave for 45 minutes. Why are you so boring? To where you're just so bored, kind of like Megan, when you get the final fight with a T-Rex. When you get that big explosive action sequence that is supposed to knock you off your feet and get you so excited, it just kind of falls flat. It just falls flat because you just spent the last 45 minutes watching these characters wander around a cave. And it's just... It's the biggest waste of potential. I mean, the writers of A Quiet Place wrote this movie. And it's just not, it's so much blown potential for a movie that has Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs. We Have a Ghost kicks off our bottom 5 of the year. Movie I saw earlier in the year. And I thought there was a couple interesting ideas here. But the movie for me just completely fell flat on all cylinders, because you go through this whole movie and it just feels like Netflix was like, you know what, you could do whatever you want, and you get whatever he wants, and it just does not work in the fullest whatsoever. The movie, you're following these characters, and then all of a sudden they want to save the ghost, so they go take a car, and then they crash a bunch of police cars, and probably killed a couple of them. When they're finally caught, the police officer is just like, hey, yeah, here's your kid, take your kid. Yeah, you probably killed a couple guys, but you could just go off. Why? Why would you do it that way? It's just so stupid in that way. You cast David Harbour and don't even have him speak. Just ideas like that just don't work. You get character arcs in the end that are supposed to be important, like the big bad guy all of a sudden switches on David Harbour. Like, she captured him, and then all of a sudden she let him free. Why? The movie doesn't want to explain that, so the movie does not explain that. And it's just kind of stupid writing. It feels like Netflix, like, Christopher Landon, you can do whatever you want. Or either, Christopher Landon, you cannot do whatever you want. We want you to do all these things. And he just made a movie for a paycheck. That's what it felt like here. He was supposed to direct Scream 7 with all that drama coming out. It's kind of unfortunate. And Christopher Landon is a really cool director. He directed this movie, and it just kind of fell completely flat for me. Bottom 4. This is the worst movies of the decade. I would say that these are the 4 worst movies of the decade so far. Other movies, 2022, 2021, they had bad movies. But I don't think these bottom 4 personally offended me and pisses me off. as much as these 4 movies did. Just in mind, it is going to be a bunch of ranting on these last 4 movies. 4, Spy Kids Armageddon. Spy Kids is a franchise that is for kids. I knew I probably wasn't going to like it, but I still watched it because my brother wanted to watch it. And the movie, number 1, doesn't have anything fun about the original Spy Kids. The original Spy Kids is about kids going on spy adventures. It doesn't have anything fun. It's kind of just a drag to get through. Like the first 5 minutes of the movie, I was like, I'm going to make a video called The Worst Movies of All Time. Still haven't made that video. It's going to come out later this year, probably in February. But you get that, and it's just kind of, oh, okay, is that what we're doing? Okay, it's just kind of boring to get through. But then, and I hate saying this. I hate saying this because I hate the woke crowd just as much as next guy. This movie's woke. It's 100% woke. The little girl is all about, yeah, let's fight these bad guys with peace. Which could be a pretty good plot line, a pretty good character arc, and a good message to teach kids. But the way the movie does it, shoving it down their throats, where this bad guy literally tries to murder her and her family. And she's like, we're not going to fight back. It's all peace. Peace, peace, peace. And then everybody's like, yeah, we're so peaceful and we're all friends together. And it's just, why? So many bad ideas. It's not fun. It's boring. I fell asleep in the movie and I woke up and it feels like I slept for 12 hours and I slept for 5 minutes of the stupid goddamn movie. That's how bad this movie was and how boring it was and how woke it was. And I hate using that word, but it is so very, like the messages pushed here are just so distasteful. Like, they should be very good messages, but they don't work at all. Number 3, and I want to say this is number 1. I really, really, really do. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. This is a movie directed by a bunch of people. Winnie the Pooh went into public domain. They decided, hey, let's make a slasher from it. The idea sounded cool. I was like, okay, hey, they're making a slasher from it. And the movie probably wasn't going to be good. And it really wasn't good. The acting is atrocious. The kills are atrocious. Everything about this movie is freaking atrocious. I'm not even gonna lie. The only good thing about this movie is it could be creepy sometimes, which is why it's probably not last place for me. Like, everything about this movie is atrocious. But what they did, what the directors did, was put this as like one of the big fancy things where you gotta pay $20 for a ticket. Like, normally, it takes $7 for a ticket. No, you pay $20 to go do a ticket. So you're ripping them off. And so then after that, it's clear your movie's a complete piece of dump. And you get actual critics criticizing your movie, which should be criticized because it's terrible. Like Cody Leach called him out on their bullcrap, said that it was a bad movie. And they retaliate. They say, you just don't have a love for indie horror. So you get other film directors mad at Cody because they don't have a love for indie horror. This is petty. They rip people off by charging them money to go see this hunk of crap, which was shot in a week, and then they just completely screwed. Like, tried to do that. Fortunately, people started taking Cody's side, but it's just stupid and disgusting by this film company that it's just terrible. It's only not in my last place, because I did feel creeped out at a couple of scenes. But overall, for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, they're making a sequel, and I hope that the sequel never comes out. Unfortunately, I'll probably watch it because I'm a film critic, but I really don't want to. And they're doing more with Mickey and Bambi and all this stupid bullcrap that is just completely stupid for this horrible company to be making. Quantumania is second. Again, another movie I want to place at 1. But this movie, beginning act, it was okay MCU stuff. Middle act, when you get all the Ant-Man antics and, yeah, my pun, but all the Ant-Man antics and like all the thievery and all the stuff that makes Ant-Man Ant-Man, I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. Then you get to the end, and you know it's going to be another CGI battle, and I don't want to sit through. Things they do in the CGI battle is stupid. It's absolutely terrible. Some of the worst stuff that has happened all year. Number 1. MODOK's character arc. He's fighting Cassie. He goes, I just don't want to be a villain anymore. She goes, don't be a dick. He's like, I could do that? Cool. I'm just not going to be a dick. And now he's an Avenger. They say he's an Avenger. Pulled off some kind of joke, but it is very much in poor taste. But they're kind of just like, Okay, that was a terrible character arc. Number 2, you beat Kang. The Kang that has destroyed countless worlds, and if he escapes, he's going to destroy millions more. They just beat him by a couple of ants. Originally, Ant-Man was supposed to lose. They just decide, hey, let's just have a couple of ants come in and bite a couple of his tech, and then he'll just be beaten and killed forever. Okay, probably not the best character arc for your character. It's stupid. It is stupid, 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 stupid. The character arcs that they do here. And the stuff that happens here. To where I just don't know what they're smoking in the writers' room. This is a Marvel Studios project. Marvel Studios, one of the best studios ever. And they put out a crap like this. I just cannot believe this movie. My parents were like, hey, let's watch Ant-Man Quantumania on New Year's Eve. And I was like, no, no. If you watched it, I'm going in the other room. I'm not watching this. It is offensive. Offensive at how bad and tasteless and pointless that they made an MCU movie that's supposed to start Kang. And it doesn't even matter anymore, because we're not probably going to get Kang because Jonathan Majors is in prison. So it's just pointless. My least favorite movie of the year is Insidious: The Red Door. I'm sorry. It's a franchise that wasn't even all that special to me. Like, I just watched the first two a couple days before. First movie, I think, is awesome. One of the best horror movies of the whole, of a long time. Second movie, thought I had a couple problems, but it was a great finale to this family. Bringing back the family. Gotta see what they've been doing for the last couple of years. See what's up with them. Where can you go wrong? Where you can go wrong is completely reversing the ending of the second movie, then completely redoing the full ending, pretty much to a T, but just without all the satisfaction. Like, you don't feel satisfied. You're supposed to feel satisfied watching this movie and watching these characters do this. And you don't. It's just like, it completely undoes the second film to make a film that is just a pointless cash grab. It is pointless at the money that this movie tried to make. And it made money. And it sucks, because I much would rather say, yeah, Patrick Wilson had a pretty great directorial debut. Ends up being my least favorite movie of the year. It's just so offensive to Insidious fans, to where I'd say I'm a fan, because I really like those first two movies. And it's just kind of pointless. It's a pointless movie. Simple cash grab by the studio. It's lazy. It's stupid. And I hate it. It's my least favorite movie. Stay tuned for my live stream. My ranking of every 70-something movies that I've seen this year. It's 11 o'clock. I'm going to start downloading these stuff to my phone, and then I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm going to edit it on the 8-hour bus ride tomorrow. And so, yeah. Best movies coming up, superhero movies ranked. Still got to do a Rebel Moon, Aquaman, and I'll probably add in Night Swim on that video too, because Night Swim will be my first 2024 movie. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. And with that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army. Peace out.